Esperanza was created, again, 27 years ago. We'll be get to that place at 28 in January. But it was our desire for some of these women of color who had gone away to school and come back and said, we want to live here in San Antonio, and we want to make sure that our lives are lived for peace and justice. We live in a city that's a military town, and we've been colonized for over 300 years with 5 military stations called the missions back in the 1700s, and 5 military...
We went to the Alamo last night.
Right, and then 5 military stations in the 20th century. And even though the rest of the country has demilitarized, San Antonio hasn't. We've continued to grow in different ways. So we wanted to work for a culture of peace and justice rather than violence and war.
What does fracking have to do with this?
Well, again, it's the violence for our Mother Earth, nuestra tierra, our land, our water, and our air quality. And for our local leaders, it's always about jobs, 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 and they're not caring at all about how it's really affecting the people who live in that community, and that means South Texas or the Panhandle area. Or
explain what Eagle Ford is and the fracking that's happening.
An area that has shale, and again, we've got all these machines that come in and drill down into the earth, and the way they drill the shale that they need for this natural gas is through pumping water into the land,
and it's already
extracting,
happening.
And it's already happening, and there's major growth in that community. So smaller rural communities like Karnes County that have no form of other development are just demanding these jobs here, but it's affecting the quality of life.
In fact, isn't this Dilley detention center that is being built, a 2,400-bed facility, an old workers' camp for people who were fracking?
Right, exactly. So again, they're going to take the jobs however they come. It doesn't matter if it's hurting the community there, if it's hurting immigrant communities.
What does Frack-aso mean?
Frack-aso means it's a play on word, and I actually kind of came up with it, but it's like everything's broken and falling apart, and it's extreme. And so we wanted to pull together community voices that to portray fracking. We did oral histories of people in South Texas. Right now, just south of San Antonio, we have Calumet, and it's a refinery. And in the last 5 or 6 months, we've seen those flares, but there have been fuel spillage. Last week there was a fire in Calumet, and none of the residents right here in San Antonio were made aware of the fire or the spillage. And the spill went down to the San Antonio River, and this is a river that has just been fixed up, a lot of development in the south part of the river, and people have been playing in that river. People have been fishing on this river, and they're not even being told how Calumet is destroying that neighborhood.